Happy birthday to me. I'm 14 billion and three, just like we all are when you think about it. And I want to show you something really curious to observe in yourself in the 3 months, the lead up before your birthday, which is why it's also really not a good idea to make any big life-changing decisions in that time. And it's to do with the fact that we're a binary consciousness. There's our body, which has its own intelligence, its own life, our unconscious, which is where our inner authority comes from, because our body is the one that's moving through the world. It's connected to everything, and it has, it's doing everything all by itself. Imagine if we had to try and run our body just for 1 millisecond, we wouldn't survive. We'd drop dead. So it's got its own intelligence, and the soul of your body, you could say, is really your soul mate in this lifetime, to understand and make friends with the unconscious. And then we have the conscious side of us. And when you look at a human design chart, if we look at, there's these two sides, the design and the personality, and the way that they're calculated is the design, this side aspect of the body, right? So in the womb, as soon as conception and fertilization happens, then your body has got its consciousness. It's building the vehicle, and then there comes a point when the brain becomes developed enough for the passenger, the soul that we identify as the conscious part of us that's aware of having this experience, can come in. And that's at a point 3 months before birth, 88 degrees of the sun, precisely an orbit of Mercury. We can look at just this side on its own, and we can all relate with all these aspects in ourselves. And then the unconscious is the things that come out of our mouth spontaneously, unintentionally, the way other people see us, right? Which can be really quite at odds with the way we see ourselves. And so if we look, for example, at Elvis Presley's chart, this is, any good human design app, whatever, free, paid, should give you also your design date and time, and you'll see that's exactly 88 degrees of the sun before. So he was born January the 8th. His design date is October the 13th. So that's the point 3 months before birth, just to recap, when the conscious personality can come in and start getting used to the vehicle, integrating with the body before we're born, right? So this is the point, that 3 month point, where the body is already developed enough and has its own characteristics. So every year, as we go round, the body has its own birthday, you could say. When the body gets back round to that point, 3 months before you popped out, that's your body's birthday. What a curious thought, eh? And then there's your personality's birthday. It's something that I've watched in myself, and I always feel a kind of inward turning movement, a sort of introspection in that period, which is quite special, between your body's birthday and between when your personality catches up. And they're kind of sort of almost not quite in sync with each other, which is why it's not a good idea to make any big life-changing decisions, unless obviously life makes you. But really, it's a time to reflect, just like with every solar new year, but this is really for you to reflect on, well, whatever comes up. It's an interesting feeling. It's a really interesting quality, I find. So for me, my birthday is in March, right? So my design date is December. So I always pay attention to that period, and it's a really special period when things can gestate, when a new impulsion or project or something fertile can develop inside you. And it's a really, I find it really beautiful to observe it. That's why I wanted to share that with you. And then on the moment of my birthday, I always feel like this sort of shining outwards. And, birthdays in our culture, birthdays often seem like they're about other people, about having a party and what other people are going to give to us and do for us and blah, blah, blah. But I find it really interesting to focus on what's going on for me in that period. It's also worth being aware that because the year isn't exactly 365 days, the moment when you come back to that point in the wheel of your birthday varies 1 or 2 days either way. So for me, it was the day before in the morning. And yeah, any good chart calculator app will give you the ability to make a cycle chart for the solar return for that year. That's also quite interesting to be specific about that moment and just see if you feel something. Of course, people can also do solar return charts. This is my solar return for this year. So what happens is you've got you in green and the weather, the transit weather of this year for you in purple. And you can see all kinds of things about how they overlap, where you're going to be compromised by a lot of change and crisis, just like we all are, to be fair, this year. I'm going to be controlled. Let me see. That's Venus 21. That's my son. He's got that 21-1 in his North Node. So he's bringing me that direction. And I'm going to learn a lot where there's a whole channel in the weather coming up for you that you don't have at all. That's educational. That's what you're going to learn a lot about. So this is learning about mental organization. Yeah, I could do with that. And it's between the moon. So it's going to be a really big drive for me to learn how to think about details and facts and, put my words across, which I'm trying to learn a lot about how to do better. And the 17-4. So probably somebody's going to come into my life to either organize me or help me be more organized. Let's see. Oh yeah, the personnel manager. Hey, I'm going to have a manager apparently. Okay, that'll be fun. You never know. I really don't care that much about all these transit charts, and it's just for fun, really. It's really helpful to have some kind of coaching call or reading with a mentor that you like in the 3 months before your birthday as a, tuning in, checking in with yourself, taking advantage of that period of 3 months where you can really go inwards and gestate something for the coming cycle. But obviously, really, the main thing is you just follow your strategy and authority, and life brings you all the right experiences, and that's your umbrella against whatever the weather, whether that's your personal weather or the crazy collective weather. As long as you do your best to do that, then you're good, really. I hope that's something interesting to observe the next time you've got your birthday coming round. Let me know if you feel something. Let me know your experiences about it. All right, subscribe, surrender, and happy birthday to you too when it next comes around.